Good evening. So glad you're here. It's been a while since we had our last Best Year Ever event, but if you are a part of the Juice Plus company, it has been a busy, busy season. Thanks for joining us tonight and taking a few minutes. It's kind of nice to have a fifth, almost a full fifth week of the month. And I hope you all are getting ready to see kids and grandkids, maybe doing some fun Halloween things. But I thought we would just reminisce for a minute while we woke up social media and woke up Facebook. It's funny how these algorithms work. But we're going to be talking about harvest. And on the screen right now, while everybody's joining us, and you've got time right now, if you're on Zoom, you can't really invite people. But if you have joined us tonight from Facebook or YouTube, you're welcome to tag people in the comments that you'd like to invite. But whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom, we would love for you right now to share. One of the things we were talking about all year was, what does it look like for you to win? What does the victory look like? We used the quote, and I'll bring it back again. Tommy Newberry's quote, "Tomorrow changes today." What does your tomorrow look like? We started in January, and we had a tomorrow for the end of the year. And that's coming up shortly. We are in the fourth quarter. And what I'd love for you to do today, because some of you are not, didn't join us in Q1, Q2, or Q3. You're just joining us now. Maybe something happened in your gut and woke you up in September. We might talk about that in a minute too. There's kind of a buzz about gut health and the microbiome and superbiome because Juice Plus has got an amazing new product. But what would it look like right now if you were to win this quarter? What would it look like for you to win this quarter? And would you share that? What would it look like? Would it be to have your business back in POB consistently every month? Or would it be 2 new QSCs on your team? Would it be get your business qualified this month and next month so that you can win that extra $500 bonus the company's got in place? Would it be to see your business reach a goal where you're consistently making X amount of dollars a month to pay for a private school tuition? I've got people just getting started that want to pay for their groceries. And I've heard that this is going to be one of the highest years ever for our heating and electricity because of, I think AI is using all the electricity. Can you imagine? It's going to be crazy. But I want to see some of these wins here. And I probably won't comment because I can multitask on some things. Like I can drive and text and have a drink at the same time. But for me to try and talk to you guys and chat, and my wife says I can't do that, but I think I can. For me to be able to talk and chat's hard. But Trey's here with us, and if you have anything urgent, Trey can join you, can comment for you. But if you want to join on Zoom, the Zoom link is right there at the bottom. If you're not comfortable on Facebook or YouTube, but I want to welcome those of you back that have been with us for a year. The last time we were together, we talked about we were in the middle of a halftime season of a football game, and our amazing CEO Travis came in as our head coach. Is it not amazing right now, the coaching crazy carousel that's going on? There's so many amazing schools that just fired perfectly good coaches. They weren't doing what they should have done this year, but I mean, to fire somebody and you have to pay them $54 million is pretty crazy. But that's the kind of stuff that's going on right now. But that just shows you how important a head coach is. It shows you how important it is, what they can do to turn it around in the locker room. And that's what we did in our last event, kind of mid-year. And you can go back and watch that. It's on our YouTube channel and it's on our website. If you want to go back and watch that halftime show with Travis, it was amazing. We're going to get in here into the meat, but we always focus on 3 questions, whether we're talking about parenting, whether we're talking about our marriage, and primarily we're talking about our business here. And the 3 questions that we always ask, and I want you to, even if you don't do them right now, I want you to write these questions down. And you'll be glad you have these questions, not just for tonight, but they should be guiding questions throughout the rest of your life. that you should pass down to your kids. When you're in the middle of something and you're on task to accomplish something, or you want to assess where you are in your given skill or situation, what went well, what's going on well that you need to keep doing. I want you to think about that. We're not going to take the time tonight to answer all those questions, but I want you to think about and write down at some point in time, screenshot this, write these 3 questions down. What went well this past quarter, this past year? What went well last week? What did you do well in September that you want to carry forward into closing out October and into November? Okay. We had an amazing conference. I mean, if I were to give you the highlight of my best year ever, it was our Indianapolis conference was the highlight of making this one of my best years. And sometimes best years are not all in stats and statistics and facts. Sometimes it's positioning and placing yourself to be in the right place at the right time to take advantage of what's about to happen. And we're going to talk about that. So keep doing what went well. What didn't go so well? What went wrong is another way to say it. What obstacles are in your way that you need to move? What habits did you not develop that you wanted to develop? What bad habits did you develop you need to stop? What didn't go so well? And then based on the answers to those 2 questions, what needs to change? These are great for your monthly coaching calls, for your rhythm, and for everything you need to do to stay on track. So I want you to have those questions. We use those every month. We use those every time we get together to assess where we are, keep the good stuff, get rid of the bad stuff, make necessary changes, and move forward, okay? So we've got some great speakers tonight, but I want you to have those 3 questions, and I want you to look at, as we close out October and we look at November and December, what do you need to bring with you? What do you need to get rid of? What do you need? Changes do you need to make, not only to finish this year strong and this quarter strong, but as you prepare to put the foundation in for next year too, okay? Now, let me talk to you for just a minute before our speakers come, because I want to set the stage for this whole harvest analogy. I know when I was talking to Stacy, one of our speakers tonight, she said, "Do you really want me to talk about farming and harvesting?" I said, "Well, that's the illustration and the principle, Stacy, that I want people to get as they're thinking about their business right now." And I thought, maybe not in a David Letterman kind of style, but I thought I would look at, just for a minute to kick us off, what are some similarities if you had a farmer's mindset? I mean, if you're thinking, I was thinking about Mark and Michaela Peterson today. They're cattle ranchers, and they raise their own hay, and they're just a wonderful family. Michaela's an amazing leader in our business, and I've been at their ranch and their farm, and they're just lovely people. But you can see the rhythms of farming, how much they make up and kind of control the rhythms of their life. So what does a farmer have to do that relates to what our business looks like? Well, what about preparing the soil? Do you think if you're getting ready for a crop or you're getting ready to produce the business you want, do you think laying the right foundation is important? You want a foundation that's not sandy, that's built on a rock. And there was an analogy that I heard about preparing the soil and laying the foundation. And it says, before you sow into customers, think about this now, before you sow into customers, till the soil of your own mindset and mission. That's so powerful. Before you sow into customers, till the soil of your own mindset and mission. Are you prepared? Gosh, there's so many things I could tell you about when you wake up every day, when you go seize the moment for our business, having the right mindset. And the farmer has to do that too. He has to break up the hard ground and remove the weeds and things before he can plant. And we've got to deal with those kind of things too in our business. How about number 2? Do you think you need to plant good seeds? Do you need to have a lot of daily actions and conversations? To me, conversations. I remember Steve Yastra, who wrote that book, Ditch the Pitch, and he taught us about conversations and how it was the number of conversations you had, the number of seeds you sowed that was going to determine the outcome of your business. And I remember this quote. I don't remember who said it, but they said, don't complain about the harvest. Listen to this. This is so good. Don't complain about the harvest from the seeds you never planted. Don't complain about the harvest from the seed you never planted. How many of you are in a place where you're not where you want to be with your business, but when you look back 90, 120 days, 6 months, the harvest you expected is not there because you never planted the seed. So don't complain about the harvest from the seed you never planted. What about timing and seasons and being consistent? You know, you don't want to just build this big bonfire and let it go out and build another bonfire. You want to keep throwing the wood on the fire. And this was the quote from kind of the analogy of the right timing and the right season, being consistent. Don't just water it a little bit. You got to water it consistently. You got to do all those kind of things to take care of your crop, to take care of your business. And it said a wise business person doesn't plant in winter or harvest in spring. Those would be opposites. There's a time and a place and a consistency for everything. How about watering and nourishing? Those are such parallels as to how we care for our business. And it says the water of follow-up. I remember when I got in the business, they told me the fortunes in the follow-up. This is the quote I want you to hear tonight. The water of follow-up keeps the seeds of opportunity alive. You know, my mom used to say you can sling a lot of mud, you can stir up a lot of stuff. But if you don't have a system or a plan or a way to follow up, it's just going to fall eventually. Like you can sling mud, sling noodles, or whatever. It hits the wall. It's just going to hit the floor if you don't have a follow up system. So the water of follow up keeps the seeds of opportunity alive. How about weed control? Any of you all fight weeds in your yard? Scared to get around or spray Roundup anymore with all the RFK, all the stuff he's teaching us about what Roundup's done to our foods and everything. But we fight weeds. I mean, weeds go back into biblical days when they're talking about the parables. You know, weeds choke things out. It's kind of like the cares of this world can choke people out. They can't function or thrive. If you're planting seeds in conversations, but the cares and the toils of this world are choking out that person that you're trying to connect with, then you know, it's really hard for them to be in a place where they can thrive and do what you want them to do. So this is another good one. You want another good quote about weeds? Think about this. If you don't get rid of the things that can choke you out, get rid of the distractions. You know, Jay Martin said there's no PV in the TV. There's no purchase volume in the television. You know, we gave up our ACC basketball tickets. We watched less TV. We sacrificed for a season because we had to get the distractions out of the way. Have you got your plate cleared? Have you got the weeds out of your way so that you can grow this amazing harvest? And here's the quote for you. If you don't pull your weeds, they'll pull your harvest. The weeds will pull away at your harvest if you don't get them out of the way. How about this? Have any of you been through seasons of frustration, doubt? Maybe you got stuck with digital transformation, or COVID hit you hard and you've just faced tough years, tough times. I mean, we've had I think we've had every health crisis in the world. I mean, God's trained me to be a professional crisis manager over the last 4 or 5 years. But this is a great quote. Storms don't stop the farmer from planting the next season. So the storm of the past, what you've weathered and gone through, like what if a farmer faced one drought season? Does he quit? One tough year with weather or not enough crops or fence breaks or whatever. I don't know what all they face. But it says storms don't stop the farmer from planting next season. Guess what? They just make him wiser. You have to learn from the traumas that you go through in order to have the harvest that you want to have. Patience. Don't uproot tomorrow's harvest because today looks quiet. Don't uproot the harvest that's coming because you're impatient, that you're not going to continue what you need to do because it looks quiet and calm today. No, you still need to put in that effort. Don't get anxious. Be patient to let growth happen and you're going to persevere through consistently through your challenges. Just a couple more, and then we get to hear from our speakers. I wanted to set the table for you because I wasn't really being silly. And it's fall, it's harvest time, it's football season, it's turkey, it's Thanksgiving. No, I really want you to get the analogy of planting and sowing and plowing and what you have to do in your business to reap the fruits. Right tools and right equipment. Oh, I love this. You can't reap 100-fold harvest if you have rusty tools. You need to sharpen your axe. You need to learn how to use. Have you used ChatGPT yet? Have you used AI to help you in your business? I've learned so much about gut health. Wendy Campbell and I have been on this journey, and Dr. Jan Roberto doing research on the gut, metabolism, blood sugar, GLP-1, the immune system. Have you learned how to use some of these new tools that are at your disposal? Do you know how to make a reel? Do you know how to go live? Do you know how to make sure that you're consistently seeing who's engaging in your post and following up? Taking it offline into a private message off the public platform. Are you good at that? Have you thrown Project Broadcast and brought texting into your business? I heard Abby Nolan say she was on the call with the global call today, and I got the pleasure of introducing her. And she was talking about how one of her main things is she wants to, I think she said 10 people a day was her goal. I forgot her number. But one of the things, she was having new conversations every day, and she's mastered the skill of sending audible messages, using the text message app, but they send audible messages back and forth. I love doing that too. But as a busy mama of two, and like my oldest, she's a busy mama of 5, married to my son. I mean, they're busy. You have to take stolen moments. So you got right tools and right equipment. So you can't reap 100-fold harvest with rusty tools. 2 more, and we're going to switch over. How about plugging into the community? That farmers, they help each other out. There's community and teamwork. There's collaboration. When I was actually at Mark and Michaela's house, they were calving and doing all the calving on their herd that day. And there were farmers from all around the community that were helping. And I think the next day, Mark and his kids, they were helping somebody else calf. So they all chipped in and worked together on the task. And, you need to build a team in this business. And the quote is, harvest time takes a crew, and success in business does too. And then the last thing, I'll give you this quote. It says it's about gratitude and dependence on God, but it's a farmer can't control certain things. And you have to acknowledge the source of the light, the sun, the rain, the temperature, the weather. And the quote is, you can't manufacture sunlight. You can only position yourself under it. Now, guys, we're going to dive deeper into our speakers. And I want you to listen to them. But I hope and I pray that this example of the harvest can really mean something to you, and you can own it and you can teach it in your business. Because what we all really want is we want a business that produces a constant fruitful harvest. Just like we're learning, we want our gut to be the microbiome and the flora in our gut to be well planted and healthy. And you got to plant the right seeds, and you got to feed them. And then they produce what you want it to produce. What are you doing today to plant the seeds and taking care of them so that they can produce your harvest tomorrow? Our first speaker is Christy Clamer. She's one of our newest national marketing directors, along with Whitney Lloyd, that just walked across the stage in Indianapolis. And I'm not going to read a bio on Christy because Christy's my friend, and she's married to a great guy named Steve, and they've moved from Michigan and now live in Tennessee. But I got to know Christy really well during COVID, when we were all, online on our phones, and the truth was kind of hard to find, and everybody was trying to figure out the truth, and we were trusting in God because we didn't know who else you could trust in. And Christy was involved politically in some campaigns. I saw her just the strength and fortitude that she had. And if you can campaign politically, you've got a lot of umph in you and spunk in you. And that sounds like she could be I get all these political text messages driving me crazy, but that's not who Christy is. When she does something, she builds an army, but the army responds because all she does is she just loves on them really well. She loves on people to help them with their health. She loves on people to help them build a business that lets them be available for God's calling on their life. And she's fun too. Everything Christy does is fun. If you hang out with Christy, you're going to have fun. She's a national marketing director. She's a go-getter. She's a godly woman. And she is going to talk to you just for a few minutes. I think she might even be at a farm. She said she might go to a farm. So let's see what Christy has to share with us. Christy?
Well, hey, Kurt. Thanks for having me share today. I thought it would be kind of fun since we're talking about the whole concept of planting seeds and harvesting to do actually a talk from a vineyard. So, a little ambiance in the back here today. Okay. So, I just wanted to say I have a deep appreciation for all that farmers do. I would say thinking like a farmer is the key to our business, actually. A friend of mine is a homesteader, and she shared with me, and I wanted to share this with you. She shared with me that you need to plant lots of different seeds at the right time in the right soil and take the time to really nurture them in order for them to grow well. So you need to be committed, she said, and understand it takes time to nurture them. She also said that having unrealistic expectations will only create a lot of frustration and tempt you to give up. So she also gave me some good advice saying that we need to allow ourselves to learn the process and just to kind of think out of the box at times. And she said there's a lot of experimenting to figure out what works best. And to be successful, you need to prepare, be teachable, and also just learn from those who've been doing this like longer than you. So I was thinking, we have to ask ourselves, how many seeds have we been planting, right? And how is the timing of when we are planting those seeds? And are we nurturing what we want to grow? Are we investing in relationships? Are we tilling that ground by asking good questions and focusing on what really matters to them? Or are we planting one or two seeds and then just expecting this quick harvest? As a lot of us know, some plants can grow quickly, but most of them take a little while. So, plants, this is kind of interesting, plants need space to grow. If they are too close or too far apart, that can cause issues. So we have to ask ourselves, are we listening to people's needs? Are we giving them that space? Or are we rushing our friends and our family and wanting them to just like get it right away, right? Are we leaning in and utilizing those who have gone before us in this business? Are we asking the questions and engaging regularly with our leaders? Are we taking those opportunities to learn and grow? So I believe we really need to take ownership of growing ourselves and our businesses because no one else is going to do it for us. We reap what we sow. This is just a principle. We reap what we sow. It's just a general principle in life. And if we sow generously, we will reap generously. If we sow sparingly, we will also reap sparingly. So we need to sow many, many acts of love, education, and hope. And when we do this consistently and generously, we will be amazed at the harvest. So that's a little bit of just some of my thoughts in regards to just harvesting and how you think of it and connect it. But to bring it more to personal level and how this has kind of played out in my business, I thought this might be a good example that's actually really recent. Is I look for fertile soil. So, what does that mean? Meaning maybe like a certain event that is very effective, that I see that's worth investing my time into, or it could be a person that I see as being fertile ground. So, for instance, right now we have this huge gut health focused Facebook event going on for 30 days, right? And we have a huge amount of our Juice Plus community contributing to it with live education every day. I'm like so excited about it. So, I believe that there's basically two key things that have helped me build a sustainable business. It's education and community, those two things. So I saw this event as a beautiful opportunity to help everyone, whether that's a team member, a customer, or someone that I've already been planting seeds with, to experience those two key things. So I have put a lot of energy into personally inviting as many people as I can. My goal has been at least 100 people or more. And honestly, it's a lot of work, right? Reaching out one on one is a lot of work. I'm leaving like private messages. I'm not doing project broadcast. I'm strategically using specific marketing images and links and just, again, leaving that verbal voice message to keep it as personal as possible. So it has been a lot of work, but I believe it's worth it. And because I'm willing to go that extra mile, put in that extra work and plant lots of seeds there, because why? Because that soil is fertile to me. And I believe if I do this, I'm going to reap a harvest, right? And I do take notes when we do different things, though, because, and what I mean by that is, we are investing our time into something, right? And so sometimes we do something like this and we see lots of growth, and sometimes we don't. So again, we need to think like a farmer. We got to be teachable. We got to learn what works best and what doesn't work. Okay. So, in my opinion, building anything in life with excellence and something that's going to truly last, okay, that's truly lasting, it's a process, period. It's a process. So, this is a major struggle, I know, for many people because, especially in this culture, we are definitely like this instant gratification society. We want everything now. Actually, we want everything yesterday. And I'd like to give you just this inside scoop on how me getting to NMD actually came to happen. So I was not very active for a few years due to being called for a season to something else, a few years of that. And so when I came back in the beginning of 2023, I decided that I was going to need to rebuild community and I needed something that would create momentum. So, what we decided to do actually was an intentional wellness retreat that was multi purposeful to build our businesses. We were very strategic in who we invited and what we did. So, we created this space for like deeper bonding, connection. It just also to experience our Juice Plus community in a very natural way. And we just sprinkled just a little bit of Juice Plus education and products, so little that people would have had no idea. I wouldn't have even picked up on the fact that it was a Juice Plus retreat. We didn't even call it that. Okay, so why? Why? Because learning about Juice Plus, right? The products, the community, the mission is a process. It's a process. So we saw lots of growth with team members from that. And then what happened is 6 months later, that is when we did our 30 sourdough workshops. Now, I wouldn't really encourage anyone necessarily to do that many workshops. It's kind of a little overkill. But the point is, I was traveling back to Michigan, right, where most of my team are, and most of my relationships. And so I decided to be very intentional about throwing out many seeds and cultivating as many seeds I had already planted while I was there. So out of that came a huge amount of growth. Some of you guys have heard a little bit of my story, but my income doubled and I didn't know what to do with myself. It was kind of crazy. I was kind of holding on. So here's the thing. I guess I would say when this all happened, I would think of it as all of a sudden I was having all these plants that sprouted. So think of like when you plant a seed and then just that little sprout comes out. So all of a sudden I had like all these sprouted plants, right? So what's interesting about that is there was still a lot of work to do, right? Just because I got the seeds and obviously watered it, and now that they were sprouting, there's still a lot of work to do to get them in a place where they could actually bear fruit. They needed to be watered, get sunshine, and just have my attention if I really wanted these plants to grow strong and be able, right, to plant their own seeds, right? That's the goal. So that was basically 2024. A lot of cultivating, a lot of watering, sunshine, all the things. So what we did is we also during that time had another wellness retreat. But this time it was only for my team, so we could get those roots in even deeper in the soil. So this wellness retreat had really actually nothing to do with Juice Plus other than it was all partners that attended. And so the roots are community and education. It's those two key things again, community and education takes time, right? So now fast forward to this past year, 2025, I let my team know I was going to go for national marketing director. and that I was ready to harvest all that was planted for those past 2 years. And harvest time, you guys, can be a lot of work too, right? So we worked really hard at the end, but we were harvesting years of seeds that had been planted. And then in June, we got to reap what we had sown, which was so amazing. And here's something that's just, I think, so sweet is when we work as a team to plant, to cultivate, and then harvest together. It's just this beautiful thing. And so I guess I'll end with saying this. What we need to think about is what season are we in right now? Are we in a planting season or a cultivating season or a harvest season? I want you to think about that. We're always in one of them. And I think the secret is to be content no matter which one we're in. And when I say content, I don't mean not to have goals to get to the next season, but I mean, we have to work towards that next season, but as humans, we tend to always want to be in a different season than we are instead of living in this season with intention and purpose and just doing it well. I mean, who wouldn't want to live in the harvest season all the time, right? So I'd encourage you to ask yourself, what season am I in? Am I being faithful in whatever season that is? Or am I trying to be in the harvest season and just skip that planning and cultivating process? Because this is going to cause a lot of frustration and discouragement in us with our business. So take a step back, assess things, and just be honest. Find someone who is maybe in a similar season as you and link arms with them. If we do it in the right order and understand that it's a process, then we will have so much joy, hope, and peace as we continue to build towards that next place we want to be. I hope some of this was helpful and something you can really just take some time to think about, because I really want you to be able to just be able to walk in the blessings of this business. So thanks again, Kurt, for just having me. I so appreciate it.
Wow, that was so good. Wasn't she? Wasn't that so cute? How she got out in the at a farm at a vineyard for us, and you could tell she cares. She called on some of her people that were homesteaders, and I took a lot of notes. um, I'll give you my takeaways. I'd love for you all to put in the comments, whether you're on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, what were your takeaways there? And I'm going to tell you mine before our next speaker. And I didn't ask Christy to talk about this, but the one thing I heard her say was she sowed lots of seeds. She didn't sow a few seeds in strategic places. She sowed lots of seeds so she could have the harvest that she wanted. And I'll never forget learning this lesson. Somebody told me, they said, it's easier to go fast than it is slow. And the only way for this business to constantly be fun is to be talking to hundreds of people. It's much easier than talking to just a few. And I was trying to process all that. Like, how in the world is it easier to talk to more people? That's harder. But I want you to listen to this really carefully. That the one thing that people want to avoid when they get in a business like ours is I'll hear people say, well, I don't want to do one of those things where every time I approach my friends, they feel like I'm always trying to close them or sell them something. Like, here comes Johnny, he's selling the widgets, And how do you do that? I don't think I've ever done that, honestly. And very early that I've made somebody feel that way. Very early in the business, somebody said, you need to be talking to hundreds of people because that way somebody will always be ready. Somebody's going to be telling you no, somebody's going to be telling you yes, somebody's going to be telling you maybe. But if you're talking to enough people, it's always fun. Here's where you really shoot yourself in the foot. If you feel like you need to, let's just use 10 customers as a possible goal. You want to get 10 customers this month. And you think you're good enough. You're going to talk to 11 or 12 people and you're going to close 10. Well, you're really not that good. Nobody that I know of closes 10 out of 11. But what you do is you start having these 11 or 12 conversations, and every conversation is high pressure because you have to close at almost 100%. Instead of talking to 50 or 100 people and realizing that 80% of all sales and transactions occur on the fifth conversation or after. You're not trying to propose on the first date. You're just sowing seeds. And look at what Christy reaped because she was faithful to sow those seeds. Our next speaker, little different. I've known Kevin. His mom, Harriet, is like my second mama. When I got started in this business, I was 22 and Kevin was 14. And he was running around with his mom, and I got to meet Kevin. And I think I've known his mom since I was 9. But Kevin is an amazing dad, an amazing husband. He's the national marketing director with our company. He has an amazing business. But one of the reasons I really wanted Kevin to speak to you guys is one of the things I admire about Kevin is he is an amazing athlete. Whether it's Ironman triathlons or CrossFit competitions or stand-up, they call it SUP, stand-up paddleboard racing, when training with an alligator chasing him one time, he told me. He's been very faithful to take on a challenge, to take on an athletic performance-based task or challenge. I would call that was the harvest he wanted. He wanted to finish an Ironman triathlon. He wanted to win the CrossFit competition. There are things, he wanted victory. He was like, I don't know, a 47-degree black belt. I don't know if it goes that high, but he's a multi-degree black belt in Taekwondo. I believe that's the martial art that he's got his black belts in. I mean, it's multiple things, but you can see Kevin has seen a harvest, and he's worked, planted, seeded, worked, plowed, done everything he needed to do to have that harvest. And he's done it many times. And I want Kevin just to talk to you a little bit about that. You're going to hear his story. You're going to hear a little bit about his performance and training. And he's going to kind of connect the dots with what we have to do in our business and in our life to have the harvest we want. So here's my friend, National Marketing Director, Kevin Seltzer. Kevin, can't wait to hear from you.
Thanks, Kurt. I'm honored by the invitation to share today and love the analogy that you've been discussing lately on the topic of harvest. I'd like to keep that going today as it really applies to producing results in every area of our lives. Just like a farmer who plants the seeds before he sees the harvest, building discipline in our lives requires deliberate effort and patience long before we experience any kind of result. So, you plant seeds in the soil and you water and protect them day after day without any visible change at first. And in the same way, small, consistent acts of discipline may seem insignificant at first, but over time, they grow into habits that transform our health, productivity, and even our character. I love the quote, "Your comfort zone is a wonderful place, but nothing ever grows there." When you make a decision to intentionally get uncomfortable, you begin to experience positive change. So I believe convenience and comfort are literally killing us, but also it's keeping us from reaching our full potential. As an athlete, I've cultivated a discipline that keeps me moving forward every single day, especially when it's uncomfortable. Progress isn't made through occasional effort when it's convenient. It happens with consistency, even when motivation is low. See, motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. Healthy habits are formed through daily repetition. This is when you begin to see new growth and the sprouts of what you previously planted. As an Ironman triathlete, I needed at least 6 months of strategic programming and training to reach my goal of finishing a 140-mile race within a reasonable time. Each day of the week, I had a specific activity that built on the actions of the week before. And over time, these consistent acts of discipline conditioned my body for readiness to accomplish my goal on race day. I like to say preparation breeds confidence. It also took discipline to consistently fuel my body for optimal performance. We as athletes usually focus on 3 categories of our diet to get results: protein, carbs, and fats. Protein gives our body the building blocks in the form of amino acids to repair muscle tear, restore strength, and reduce soreness. Carbs refill our muscle glycogen, which is a backup source of energy that helps fuel our workouts. And of course, good fats, which are our primary source of fuel. So now let's talk about what's often overlooked by athletes that plays a crucial role in optimal performance. If I had an expensive race car and put high quality gas in the vehicle, but forgot oil, how long would it actually run? Not very long, right? The oil are the micronutrients we get from plant-based foods. These vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants fight cell damage and swelling through anti-inflammatory properties, which leads to faster recovery and less injury. These keep your engine running smooth to provide longevity. Obviously, I am grateful that the foundation of my nutrition every single day for the past 30 years has been the Juice Plus capsules. And I'm so excited about the latest plant powder innovation with Superbiome for a healthy gut. I'm learning there are so many benefits to maintaining a healthy microbiome. One that I've heard you discuss recently, Kurt, is the production of short chain fatty acids that regulate hunger hormones and help with weight management. It also affects how your body extracts energy from food. I really appreciate the fact that we offer a daily prebiotic that feeds the probiotic in order to create a postbiotic, which is really what is required for producing a healthy and thriving microbiome. Fueling for performance takes intention, discipline, and sometimes sacrifice. But once you create these healthy habits over time, your metabolic programming kicks in and you begin to crave these nutritious live foods over the highly processed dead foods that most people are consuming. It offers such an advantage. You're giving your body exactly what it needs to heal and repair and also thrive. And once you see and feel the results, you realize it's worth it and you stay on track. This same mentality of consistent acts of discipline is also how I was able to reach the national marketing director level with the Juice Plus company. It started with a vision of what this opportunity could do for me and my family. And out of this vision, I created a why that became bigger than the rejection, frustration, and disappointment that happens along the journey. I was looking for a way to create both financial and time freedom so that I wouldn't have to be that absent husband or absent father. Uh, I was actually able to stop trading my hours for dollars and also wanted to make a difference and an impact with what I was doing on a daily basis. I decided to commit my efforts to helping families thrive both physically and financially. So I set my goals, I created timelines, and then I scheduled the activities to move me forward. I created daily habits of action that began to grow by my business and my paycheck. I became teachable and followed the clues left by successful people around me, like Kurt and so many others. I began with a list. We call it a memory jogger of people to share with. And then I started planting the seeds through intentional conversations I was having throughout the week. I watered them through educational exposures, and over time, I began to experience growth. And it's really about trusting and committing to the process. And most importantly, I've learned to implement these consistent acts of discipline to build my own character. Through prioritizing my time with God and reading His Word daily, I better understand my true identity and purpose and feel equipped and prepared to handle whatever life throws at me. And at this stage of life with three teenagers, that can be a lot at times. But my confidence comes from a full surrender to what God can do through me and not what I can do alone. Philippians 4:7 talks about a peace that passes all understanding. And I believe this can only come through a faith that God's plan for my life is way better than my own. So I'll end with this. I challenge you to intentionally get uncomfortable and watch what happens. If you start doing this regularly, you'll begin to cultivate discipline in every area of your life. And then you can really enter into God's plan for your life. So thanks for allowing me to share, Kurt, and I'll turn it back over to you now. God bless you guys.
Thanks, Kevin. What a great friend he is, and what a great message there. I mean, he didn't even tell you the half of his success as an athlete. And You know, it wasn't Heisman Trophy kind of college stuff. It was more individual performance where he had to discipline himself to see a goal and see a task. And he just had to work hard. And a lot of times he was by himself. The times he was up at 6 in the morning swimming in a lake, or I just remember the story of him doing, a paddleboard workout on a river, and like a 12-foot alligator would follow him, and he didn't know when it was going to go away, but it finally did. And he was kind of at his mercy, but he was doing the deeds necessary to get what he wanted. You know, I love the connection that Kevin made, and I'm going to jump in right here in just for a minute. I want you guys to understand what we have in this super biome. Kevin talked about how grateful he was that he had planted the garden in his body of the Juice Plus capsules, our essentials, our fruits, veggies, and berries over 30 years ago. And I'm going to close with a little bit of this, but you need to read a book called Play Bigger if you haven't read it. It's kind of a contemporary version of From Good to Great by Jim Collins. But it talks about not just the successful, but the companies that have had an impact on their culture and made a difference. They decided to play bigger, and they decided they weren't going to try and be in every field, but they were going to be number one. They were going to be the hero. They were going to own the field they were in, be number one, stay number one, and dominate that turf. And we've done that in the fruit, veggie, and berry space, and we've got the research to back it up. And what Kevin was expressing is his excitement. And I'll share this with you too, but it's the new season, just like he now understands that he needs to sow the seeds in his gut, the prebiotics, probiotics, and he talked about the resulting postbiotics to have a healthy gut. Things are going to come your way where you're going to see there's a harvest there if I'm willing to do the things today to plant the seeds, to water, nurture, and care. I can have that harvest too, but it doesn't just happen. And that's part of some of the entitled culture today. I talk to so many people that they want what you have, but they don't want to see the work you put in or acknowledge or recognize what you did to have it. And that's what I see is so important. But I began to also learn that we have this amazing company. So we have a great product. We're in the right place at the right time, but we have to have a company to back us up. And, through COVID and through these trying times with technology, we didn't have the right leadership in place at our company. As Jay Martin retired, our founder. But you know what? Today, I think we have some of the best leadership that we could ever even imagine. I mean, Travis is our CEO, Skylar, Gina. I just heard Neil Markey on a call today, our IT person. He's doing great things with our technology. But I wanted Stacy Whitmer. And Stacy, we've got crazy stories we share with each other, and I won't even get into them there. But every time she's in a rental car traveling for business, there's an incident that happened back in the past that we had a conversation about when she was in a rental car, and she says, "I always think of you whenever I get in a rental car." And we just have these amazing conversations, and I'm so grateful that Travis and Skylar saw that bringing Stacy to the home office to be our senior director of sales was an amazing thing. She's got the energy, the drive, the heart. Oh my gosh, she's an amazing mom. I hear stories about her kids, and she's just amazing. I've heard her cry and passion over her kids. I've heard her defend them and cheer for them and be proud of them. I've heard her doing things and talking about her marriage and her husband. And you hear all those things, and you can talk about somebody's business accolades, but when they check the box of spouse, daughter, mom, community leader, just the way they friend people, them relationships, that's what I want somebody to say about me when I get introduced. It's not that you wrote a book or that you achieved a title, but I asked Stacy, what was the company doing to help us plow, plant, water, care for, and create our harvest? What is the Juice Plus company doing? So I thought we'd hear from Stacy Whitmer, and she's my buddy, she's my pal, and she is a ball of energy. So Stacy, let's hear your thoughts on harvest.
You can't harvest what you haven't planted, and you can't grow what you don't nurture. Here at the Juice Plus Company, our rhythms aren't just schedules, they're growth cycles. And inside that growth cycle, as you stay inside that growth cycle, you create momentum. I am Stacey Whitmer. I'm your Senior Director of US Sales for the Juice Plus Company. And I'm so excited today to talk to you about rhythms and growth and the harvest that can happen when you really lean into what we're doing as a company. So let's set the stage for a second. Let's talk about the power of a rhythm. At Juice Plus, we've built these intentional corporate rhythms for you, not just for structure, to help you create momentum. And these rhythms help you, the field, know what's coming up, where to focus, and how to stay in motion all year long, not just sometimes, all the time. So we've come up with rhythms like our monthly call rhythm, where the first Tuesday of every month, you can count on us to help you kick off the month strong. That's one way you can stay close to the fire and connected into our rhythm. On that kickoff call, you're going to learn all about the focus for the month and how you can best lean into it to grow your business. That following Thursday, we have a prospect call. That's where you're going to hear from one of our healthcare providers, someone from our corporate team, and a partner. And what we're doing on that prospect call is talking about our opportunity. The partner is going to talk about the business. The healthcare professional is going to talk about the product. And your corporate partner, the person that's on there from corporate, is going to be talking about who we are as a company. So those are some of the rhythms that we have developed for you. Other rhythms that we've created are all the incentives that we have going on right now. So right now, there's so much that you can lean into. We have PBQ Breakthrough. Let's start with PBQ Breakthrough. If you are a QSC, goal number 2 or higher, then the most important thing you need to be focusing on right now is building your business to being a qualified business. And when you do that, if you did not do that in August, if you did not have a qualified business in August, and if you do that October and November, or if you did that in September and October, if you did it for 2 consecutive months inside September through November, you're going to earn a $500 bonus. And why we are incentivizing that rhythm is because building a qualified business is like building a house of bricks. It's helping you build a business that is stable and lasting. That is one corporate rhythm that we've created for you to help you grow your business. And how you do that is by adding new customers, adding new partners. All of that leads to building a qualified business. So in addition, for our leaders out there, we have consistently, from your PBQ Breakthrough, we want to help more people get qualified, which then, to calling all our leaders out there, we have an amazing opportunity called Future Forward, where if you grow by 3 qualifiers inside your organization with August as your baseline, you get to come with us to Phoenix in January for Future Forward. Future Forward is this incredible leadership experience that you get to experience with us. It's like leadership development at its best. It's a kickoff to the new year. If you are a leader, you want to go. You want to be present for this event. So look and see how many qualifiers you had in August. You have to be a minimum of 6 club. You have to grow by a minimum of 3 qualifiers. And when you do that, you get invited to our leadership experience, our Future Forward leadership experience. Recognize the consistency. As we are helping to share and incentivize, create the rhythm for building new qualifiers, that leads to taking our leaders to the next level and building club levels, which then puts you in front of us in January in Phoenix. And all of that leads to our Destination Success Punta Cana trip. That Destination Success Punta Cana trip is something where you get to build your business, and as you're doing it, you get points to try to get to Punta Cana. We've never done a trip, a destination trip like this. This is something that we've done out of the country like this. This is something that is going to be an unforgettable experience. And we are encouraging you to get there by building your business. If you are brand new, I'm talking to you right now. If you are brand new, I'm telling you that you have the biggest opportunity to get to Punta Cana, because when you're new, the world is in front of you. New conversations, new customers, new partners, all the promotions you're about to hit. All of that is helping you build points to get to this trip. Also, if you have been doing this for a while and you're building your business and you're building your team, all of that is helping you build points to get you to this trip. Recognize that we are honoring and excited to help you develop business building activities. Those business building activities are the things that help you grow and help you build a stable and lasting business. But just like a farmer, our business goes through cycles, and you can't harvest what you haven't planted or nurtured. So we need you out there sharing your stories, making new contacts, being consistent with conversations. That's how you sow what you're doing. And then the grow is the follow up. The grow is where you nurture relationships, educate, belief. The grow is where you lean into what you have planted so that you can develop those into customers or partners. And the harvest, that's where you crush it. That's the result. That is where someone says yes. That's where you get to celebrate those wins. And too often we want to harvest before we even plant. We want to harvest before we even nurture. Too often we want to harvest without the season of planting. But the truth is, your harvest is built when you do the quiet, consistent actions every single day. See, that harvest isn't built when you do the work sometimes. That harvest is built when you do the work all the time, consistently, every single day. See, consistency is what creates confidence. When you show up consistently, even when you don't see immediate results, that's where the magic happens. That's where you're building something deeper. That's where you're building that trust, building momentum, and you're truly building long-term growth. See, the way I see it is consistency is in messaging is where trust is built. Consistency in action is where growth is built. Consistency in rhythms is where stability happens. And that is what I know you're all looking for. It's not about something you do once. It's about what you're doing consistently again and again that is going to build the business that you want. And your corporate team has allowed these rhythms to set in place for you. Harvesting in your business right now, it's a season, think like a grower, where you've planted, you're watering and nurturing, and then what's ready to be harvested is happening as you consistently lean into that rhythm. So I want you to lean into the rhythms that we've built for you from a corporate team. Our calls, our incentives, lean into those rhythms to help you build a business. But I do want to ask you a few questions. I'm going to challenge you right now to really be honest with yourself. Who have you sown seeds with, but haven't followed up with? Who have you planted seeds with, but haven't nurtured? Who's ready for the next steps? Who's ready to say yes as a customer, to say yes to become a partner, or even go to an event? What systems can you nurture daily inside your business that can help you harvest? So, how I want to close this up for you today is this. Corporate rhythms set the tempo of what you're going to do, but your consistency, your nurturing, your willingness to keep planting is where real growth happens. So stay in rhythm, keep planting, keep nurturing, keep sowing, keep growing, and your harvest will come. It is up to you to continue to do the work. And I end everything I say with this. We as a corporate team, we believe in you. We believe in where we're going as a company, and we believe that we have the right field in place to help us get there. This is about you building a business that's going to last you a lifetime. It's all about you planting the seeds, nurturing them so that your harvest is something you can count on forever. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of the event, and we'll talk soon.
Stacy's just a bundle of joy. And, all these people that participated and shared with you, no, they didn't have to. They wanted to because they're living out what you're living through. They're working towards their harvest, just like we all are. I got to speak at an event in Orlando this past week. It was amazing. I think we had 40 or 50 people somewhere. I heard 52 as a number, and I heard 47. So I don't know what the exact number was. And I heard we had 20, then I heard 25 guests, but there were a lot of guests there. I actually had somebody there that I'd met in North Carolina, a doctor, a chiropractor from Australia, who's become a good friend, and I believe will join us in the business. But I got to share down there something interesting and something unique. It was the first time I'd gotten to share this, and it was really about this next harvest. Like I said a little bit earlier, when I joined this company, we've been a part over the last 30 years of, when I got started, I saw fruits and veggies, 5 a day for better health on a Kroger grocery bag. And we began to sell Juice Plus with no research. It's become the owner, the number one, the dominator of its category. It's the most researched nutritional product in the world today. And it's dominating its place in that category. And we've been reaping the benefits. And it's still, today, is I think the most essential nutritional product you can put in your diet. But I never thought we would, because this product has been so good to us. And I knew the company, J. Martin's strategy was, let's be the best and let's keep our point of sale simple. And we've been plugging away and building an amazing business for a long time. But at this last conference, I caught the vision all over again of what was about to happen. It's the first time our company hasn't just come out with a gummy or a superfood powder or a new flavor of a shake. No, they made a major decision with the backing of some of the largest investment companies in the world that are part of our stakeholders, our leadership at the home office, our medical community, a research team that's been working on this for years. We decided we wanted to own a new category. And there's never been a time. It'd be like you're a farmer and they've come out with a new crop that's going to revolutionize the health or the ability to feed cattle or whatever that crop might be. It's got a breakthrough place. And gut health's not new, but successfully growing a healthy gut has not been happening. Even the research shows that the ones that have been trying are not getting the results, and it's because they didn't have the 1-2 punch of the pre and the pro. So I think there's a new harvest. My mom used to use a quote by Shakespeare, and I may butcher it because I'm not good at the King's English. I need to get Mick or Jenny to do that for me. But my redneck version of the quote is something like this. There is a tide in the lives of men when taken at its fullest, great fortune doth produce. There's a tide in the lives of men when taken at its fullest, great fortune doth produce. And the grandma code way to say that is, there's a big tide coming in. How big a bucket are you going to take to the beach? And it's that harvest that we can all see in this new category that we're going to own. That's got it's got everybody ready, I think, to get the plow back out, to get their watering cans out, to do the things that are necessary. Like Kevin said, if you want a 6-pack of abs for the summer in the beach, or to look good in your bikini, or whatever that looks like for you to get your body in shape, it's going to take sit-ups and crunches and planks and curls and pull-ups and push-ups and running and exercise today in order for you to be able to have that tomorrow. And so if you focus on the next set of 10 sit-ups or the next set of 10 planks or 10 crunches, you're going to get tired and worn out because of the monotony. But if you stay focused on the end results and what you're going to get out of the hard work, the harvest you're going to get from doing the planting the seeds, getting the plow in the ground, watering, nurturing. If you stay focused on the harvest, you'll do the things today you need to do. Now, we've put together a few things to help you in addition to the amazing things the company's doing. I've done 2 podcasts with 2 amazing doctors, and you can scan the QR code or just go to our YouTube channel, makealife.com/YouTube. There's an interview with functional medicine doctor, Dr. Tamara Sachs, talking about gut health. She's brilliant and amazing. I'm not taking any credit. I'm just the interviewer, the facilitator with these amazing people. And then Dr. Tom Neighbors is a renowned research dentist, studied his life, studied the oral microbiome and its connection to our gut health and gut microbiome. And he really dove into that with us. And there's an exciting new podcast that's coming this next week. Alexis Busselman, who's a mama of 5, and she's an entrepreneur. She's doing this business for her kids. She's not so busy she can't do this business because of her kids. She's making an investment. She's a national marketing director. She's killing this business because she takes stolen moments. She puts being a mom as her number 1 first priority. But she does the necessary things to plant, seed, plow, water, nurture, because she wants a harvest for her and her 5 beautiful kids. So she's going to talk about how can a mother of 5 have time to be an entrepreneur. And that podcast will come out. We'll be live on Facebook and YouTube on November the 6th, and then it'll come out in an audio version on Spotify and Apple on the 13th of November. We do we just do this once a month. It takes a lot of time and pulling everybody together. But Friday, November the 7th, we'll have our live power hour. We'll focus on gut health. We'll focus on resources and tools to strike up and have the new conversations. We'll have 1 more week left, and that incentive the company's doing where someone can try our brand new Super Biome and get a 15% discount and not have to do a subscription. That lasts until November the 15th. So we'll focus in on that a little bit on that power hour. You can put that down or go to makealife.com/power hour. And then last but not least, we've got 1 more best year ever event, and it's really going to be to celebrate the year behind us, the seeds we've planted, and we're going to look forward into 2026 and get ready for another amazing year. And it'll be kicking off with the 3 days in Camelback. But you can put that date on your calendar. December the 17th, we'll be together 1 more time, okay? Thanks so much for being here tonight. Sorry we went over our hour time. Only 7 minutes, though. I thought our speakers were amazing. If you get a minute on Voxer, tell Stacy, tell Kevin, tell Christy how much you appreciate it. Thank you for investing your time in yourself tonight, in you. And tag anybody that you want to hear this, Facebook, YouTube, it'll stay there. It'll be there for you to send out to people later. And God bless and have an amazing night. And let's finish October with a blast, okay? See ya.